seniors and individuals with disabilities throughout the country by removing barriers to transportation services and expanding the transportation mobility options available. And the elderly and disabled capital, we're asking for a total of $404,000. That's to replace 7 of our vehicles that have met the NCDOT requirements for replacement.
Okay. Is there any comments, commissioners? Mr. Brown?
Ms. Wilson, is this the same one we had talked about earlier, about a few months ago that we were going for?
Yes, we apply for it annually.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You had something?
Yeah. Could you repeat the last request, the 404, is that right?
Yes, the $404,000 is to replace 7 of our fleet vehicles that have met the life expectancy through NCDOT, the Public Transportation Division.
Is there a county match to that?
There is a county match.
I didn't hear that one.
Okay, the county match is $40,400, 10%.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? This is administered through the Department of Health and Human Services.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion by Commissioner
Second.
Kieger and a second by Commissioner Price to approve this. Any other questions, discussions? All those in favor? It's approved.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Mr. Moore, a little advice. The one item, I don't know how many members we like to have a quorum for the.
Need one more.
Need two
more.
Mr.
to have 6.
Mr. Chairman.
Well,
You have 5 here.
no, sir, we have 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
You need
Yes,
2
sir.
more.
Yes, sir, we have to have 6 to have a quorum. We had word that we're going to have 7 tonight, but we only
I
have.
don't know whether it rains
yeah,
this
maybe-
month or what.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, if it may please the board, Commissioner Price has a commendation. Maybe he could read that and save some time. We could, if that'll help
Okay,
to alleviate some
Well,
stuff.
we're still in public hearing. I guess we can go out and re-enter public hearing if we get a quorum for that, because I hate to put those people off.
I'll
So,
make a motion, we go out.
okay, a motion to go out of public hearing, and is there a second? All those in favor? Okay. We are now, this concludes our public hearing for the time being for tonight, and the board would like to thank everybody for their input. Our next item is, I had it on my iPad, but let me use the green sheet. Okay, the business agenda. Is there, do we have a motion to approve, or is there any items that need to be pulled?
I had a question on, let me find it here.
We through with that?
On item L, it's an EDC to accept and appropriate funds from land sales at Court Drive on future infrastructure project. Is that earmarked for anything, or is it just being put in a fund for EDC to recommend usage?
That's what we've done in the past, but
Yeah, those funds would not necessarily be earmarked other than for the broad purpose of additional economic development projects or infrastructure associated with that in the future.
okay, Mr. Hicks is here. Is that?
Mr. Mathers is correct, and we would put that into a capital fund that we would bring back to the commissioners if we approve some project, either for development or infrastructure. And that's typically what we've done with the money.
But what was the problem with leaving it where it is? I mean,
It was a land sale, so we moved it. We had
Correct.
to do something with the proceeds of the land sale, so we put it into the EDC capital account so that it could be brought forward to you at some point for a project.
okay.
Okay. Any others? I'll entertain a motion to approve the business agenda. So moved by Commissioner Brown, seconded by who? Alan Fraley. Okay. All those in favor? Tom, you gonna vote?
Yeah.
You know, okay.
Left-handed.
Okay. At this time, I see that we'll welcome Commissioner and Chairman Phil back. So this time you can take over.
This time I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes, regular meeting of August 25th, closed session, regular meeting 22nd, closed session, and a closed session for October 13th. Second. Motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Fraley. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. We have one signed up for citizen comment, Ms. Terry Kennedy.
Mr. Chairman, County Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to come and speak tonight. My address is 1331 Heatherlock Drive, Gastonia, and as you know, I practice on Main Street in Gastonia for the last 27 years. I know tonight is always a big night when you start talking about dividing up large funding, and I'm here to say that I hope that you will consider very strongly the funding for the animal shelter. We all know that the shelter is extremely old and needs to be, we need something new. I know there's a building been purchased, and I hope that that money will be set aside so that we don't have to look to the future commissioners perhaps for other funding. I know that doing a shelter is not, it's not a cool project, it's not a fun project. It's kind of one of those projects like putting the roof on your house. You know, you really hate to have to do it, but it's just something that we absolutely need to do and need that money earmarked so that it can't be taken away later down the road for a project that's perhaps cooler, a project that may have support or, you know, we all wish we could take all the money and put it toward our children or something, you know, that economic development. But at some point, it's time to do something for the shelter. So I just want to say that I hope you'll do that. And also, I always want to come and give you some good news after I've been annoying, because maybe you'll remember what I said last and not in the beginning. Our Gaston low-cost spay-neuter clinic will be celebrating our 25,000th surgery this year, and we've been open since 2009. We are seeing shelter admissions decrease on a very steady basis, and we believe that we have a direct bearing on that because we are making spay-neuter and vaccinations affordable for everybody in Gaston County. And last but not least, I have to brag a little bit. We were one of 32 shelter clinics in the nation that received a brand-new PetSmart grant. We received $81,000 from PetSmart charities to provide services in the Highland, Rhine, Woodhill, and Beaverbrook neighborhoods, which we know are...
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
right.
And so we had our first vaccination wellness clinic over there on Saturday at the Community Action Center and provided services for 122 pets in that community. So we're trying to do our part. We're just asking, let's do this all hand in hand. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Our next item is under non-consent. Commissioner Williams to approve the Caramont lease proceeds investment task force recommendations. Commissioner Williams.
Well, I'll make the motion to approve those recommendations. We went over them at length at our work session. They're highlighted. Ms. Kennedy just spoke to one of them, but they're all in here, and I would make the motion that we accept
we didn't
those
do the
recommendations.
That's consent.
Oh, excuse me.
We did that.
We just adopted the agenda.
You're right.
Sorry.
No, that's my fault. Mickey was At this time, that's right. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Carpenter, seconded by Commissioner Price. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Now we're on non-consent. Commissioner Williams, item B.
My motion is to accept.
Motion's made by Commissioner Williams,
Go ahead.
seconded by Commissioner Fraley. Any discussion?
Yeah. Mickey asked.
Commissioner Price?
Thank you. First of
Didn't
all,
get him to read that,
I'm not going to support this motion as presented. I have in my mind an investment strategy that I wanted to say. I wanted to invest 15 million of the dollars. I'm okay with spending 5 thereabouts. So this total package is more than I want to do. So that's going to be my reason for not supporting it as it is. Not that I'm against any one of the individual projects, but it's just the total that I don't see us spending. Thank you.
Commissioner Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think same sentiments as Commissioner Price, but I also think that we have some greater needs that are maybe more up front. And I'm not saying we don't want to take this money, but I'd like to see this money put into our system at least until after we get our bond rating before we release anything out of that. That's just my opinion for that, just for the fact of we need to get this bond rating, and I want to make sure that that's something we have in our focus, but I also think these some worthwhile things in there. Some of them I look at differences of, but just wanted to let that be known that I'd like to see it at least stay there till I think April, is that when that comes out, Mr. Manager?
I don't think we can predict that with great certainty, but yes, probably late March or April would be the time that we would be planning to issue bonds, because I think it's going to take that long probably before we have bids for the schools.
And I say that just on my regard for just wanting to make sure we have the best bond package available for our schools so we can move forward and hopefully get more schools in the future. But I think those are some worthwhile projects as well. But I think I'd like to see some restructuring of it as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Fraley?
I am going to support these. I think several of these projects are, time is of the essence. And I think some of the other projects, if we don't do them now, they'll probably never get done. And I don't see anything on here that I can't support. And like I said last meeting, I plan to support all of these projects and think they're all worthwhile and need to be done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Carpenter.
Well, as you know, I was in favor of just putting the total 20 million into a trust fund, and we had a committee working on that spent a lot of time going through it, and I compromised that somewhat because the items that were listed, it seems that we, the citizens of the county, would get more benefit with an immediate putting these programs into effect. The incubator program is going to have return, the Gaston College, the Chromebook for the schools. The others I could, although the animal shelter's got to be built, I was thinking we'd put that in our regular budget item and try to find a way to do it through that process. And I know we're a tight budget process, but those were the ones that I favored most highly. The Park and Rec is another one that could be done through our regular budget process too. So although we have probably more people using our Park and Rec than any one thing in the county, and so those are very valuable. I can support it unless, if you got a list, Commissioner Price, of things that you'd like to include to get $5 million, I'll look at that and see.
Commissioner Kieger?
Thank you. I'm not going to take much time because I think I know how the vote will go. I had a little list that I prepared at the last work session. I'm in tune with everything with the exception of holding back the full amount for animal control. I'm okay with the schools, the incubator, with the college, and I agree that we need to do the animal control center, and we do it now. But I don't think we need to take that amount out. And the figure I had come up with originally was, I think it was $5,025,000. So right about where Mr. Price's mind is at. you know, if we took 1 million, I think I had allotted 1.1 million from the hospital, 20 million to go towards animal control construction, and then we use debt reduction, we use part of the $450,000 annual lease payment from the hospital, and we've talked about this, you know, animal control first of all isn't mandated. Rabies control is through the health department. And we've sat here and we've heard reports that over 70% of all animal calls are throughout the municipalities, not in the rural parts of the county. And, you know, if we could get help through the towns, if we're spending 70% of our efforts in the cities, you know, maybe it's time we look at sharing the cost. But I would like to bank 15 million of it, and I'll leave it at that.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Oh, I don't know, I think it was confused what you were
Yeah,
talking about.
you're in favor of
The motion's on.
The
Okay.
motion.
Commissioner Brown had a question.
I was wondering if anybody on the board would have a problem with maybe amending that to go to after we receive
That's what
our
I,
funds, or our bond rating is what I was trying to get to for a secondary question.
Commissioner Williams.
Well, I would like to, in fairness to the task force, I think it deserves an up or down vote. And at that point, we can, if it doesn't pass, we can amend it if necessary. I think to be fair to the work that committee put in, I think it does deserve it on its merits, and we can go from there. I will say, Commissioner Brown, that this will be done in phases with the animal control. The county manager can speak to that, but all the money's not going to be spent immediately, and I don't think it's all going to be spent by April, and I guess that's the magic date that we put out there of April. The other thing, you know, I don't disagree with Commissioner Keeger, and the animal control wasn't originally on our list until, you know, Dr. Blankenship came, and actually it was this board that requested that we hear the presentation. You know, we don't have to be in the animal control business. I think that was pointed out a few minutes ago by Commissioner Carpenter. The fact is, this board has decided that we are going to. We've purchased the land. We've made a commitment. We can, you know, sit back and see if there's some other opportunities. But at the same time, we can go ahead, allocate the money, and go ahead and get that process started and get moving on it. And I think that's what we originally talked about, was start the process, let them go ahead and get things moving. And again, that money's not going to be spent all by April. But I say we, you know, do an up or down vote, and if we want to amend it at that point, we can. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Carpenter.
well, I support all the projects. What Commissioner Keeger says is, to me, is acceptable. And although we wouldn't approve everything tonight, say we didn't approve the animal control tonight, we can come back and use, and do it at a later time. You know, when we have, you know, more timelines figured out as to when that money would be needed. So I don't know whether a substitute motion would be in appropriate here, but
I'll entertain a motion to amend the motion.
okay.
Is that correct, Chuck? What is your motion, Commissioner Carpenter?
To approve all the recommendations at this time except for the animal control project funding to be considered at a later date.
Is there a second? There is no
I'm
second.
not quite sure. I mean, I want the project to move, and I don't want us to wait on it. I just don't want to take a lump sum out of the 20 million to do it. I think we can get creative and find other ways, therefore leaving us more money to invest. You know, if Joe can tell us, like in 2 months or 3 months, or Earl, when will we be ready for the first phase? You know, that's, you know, I'd have to know those things.
Well, I understand that they're entertaining proposals from an architect to go ahead. That's funded through what? Money we already have in the budget? It would come from this.
We do not have the funding for the planning and design of the facility, which I anticipate would take somewhere between 4 and 6 months. And at that point, I think construction probably could begin. This is not the kind of construction process that would drag out over years, but I would anticipate that it would take 6 to 8 months to complete. So, theoretically, I believe that we could be ready to move on construction of the new animal control facility by spring. But that is all somewhat speculative at this point.
Well, probably not much use in delaying this, so I'll withdraw that.
This time, well, the motion is still on the table. Motion made by Commissioner Williams, seconded by Commissioner Carpenter. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Our next item is item C by Commissioner Fraley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've talked to,
Hold on, Commissioner Fraley. We do not have a quorum for the planning board. I'll go ahead and dismiss, and we'll just schedule at a later date.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes.
I'd like to apologize to the folks that came for this hearing. This doesn't happen. It's very rare when this happens, and I know a few people are here with their papers and work, and it's just an unfortunate situation, and we will reschedule it. Can I ask right away, was there any kind of urgency with time on one of these?
Mr. Chairman, not to my knowledge. Mr. Core is here, but I'm not sure.
I would need for it to be approved at least by the next
Okay.
If we have to send for the folks, we will do it.
What we need to do is recess this public hearing tonight until the November 10th meeting, and then we'll reconvene it
I got you.
so that we won't have to re-advertise.
Okay. And you feel free to leave. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Fraley, item C.
okay, first of all, I want to say that I was in favor of banking at least half of this money, if not more myself. But so far, to my knowledge, with all the research that's been done, we've not been able to find a program that we can put our money into that will outpace inflation. Not that I don't think we still should bank a good portion of the money, if not at least half of it. And with that being said, I agree with Commissioner Brown that, the bulk of the money definitely needs to be left in there until we can take the money to the bond market and make sure that we get the best interest rate possible. With that being said, and this animal control thing, it's not like we're going to pull out all the money at once, or we only pull it out, pay as you go, pay as it's needed. So the bulk of that money is going to be in there a year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it takes to actually complete this project. But what I would like to say is, on my proposal is, I simply feel the citizen owners of Caramont and Gaston Memorial have not seen a return on investment for many years, if any at all. And if not for the support of the hospital, all of our citizens, this new lease we did would not have been possible. So my proposal is just to make sure that all the townships see a benefit of being an owner. And this dividend will come in a form of grants to improve projects based on this board's goals and objectives to improve the county in the areas of health, economic development, education, etc. You can see the proposal, what's in there. So with that being said, and I'm glad we passed these other projects, with that being said, I would just ask that if you feel your township is deserving, which I do, I would appreciate your support in saying yes. And basically what this does is allows each township the ability to come to us with projects up to a total of $500,000 for each township. And that would be a total of $3.5 million, with Gastonia getting 2 shares because of the new division for the North Gastonia and South Gastonia townships that we recently approved. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Williams?
I'll second that. I think as the chairman of that committee, this was very in line with our mission. I think one of the goals that we had was to try to touch everybody in the county in some way and make sure that everybody saw some benefit from this. And I think Commissioner Fraley's come up with a very good idea in order to ensure that we can go out and have a maximum impact on the most number of citizens of Gaston County through this grant process. So I'm happy to second that motion.
Any other comments?
No, I just,
Commissioner Keeger?
thank you. I respectfully disagree. I think everything we spend basically benefits all the citizens, and this is just a depletion more of the larger number that could serve for years to come. And if it does get approved, and I hope it doesn't, the state did not change the boundaries, and I don't think one township should get, right now it's still one township, and there's no guarantee next year the state will change it. And if you do approve it, I wish you would reconsider that and just allot the one amount. But I just don't think it's right for us to divvy money up among ourselves to have for our townships. It's one county, not 7 parts or 6 parts. Thank you.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Well, I tend to agree with that. I would rather they come in per request. If someone requests, is it within an area and it's a project, like I know that Cherville has one probably ready, but I'd rather, stand as is and then just approve the request as they are applied for.
Commissioner Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think for me, I'm put in a quandary because I have 2 municipalities that sort of sit inside my jurisdiction, so I would be remiss if I tried to do one thing and everybody else is getting something. So I think that's where my problem is with this. Also, I look at it as, I look at our parks that we have for Parks and Rec. I had rather see that maybe go into, just as a suggestion, so we had put into the Dallas Township for that Dallas Park project to get all that completed, because I think that would help us a lot more to fulfill some of our needs and holes and gaps. We also have, there's some other issues, but like I said, for my own personal township, I have 2, so it puts me at a loss because I want to support those people more than anybody. But it just puts me at odds, so that's why I put that out there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Fraley, would you be okay if we approve this agenda, which I don't think is a caveat, but my assumption is if we approve this and there was a need in a township, that would still have to come before the board and we vote on it. Am I correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
You good with that,
Yeah,
Commissioner Carpenter?
that sounds okay.
Okay. Any other comments from the board?
We still have to approve it. That was part of the proposal.
Yep. This time, motion made by Commissioner Fraley, seconded by Commissioner Williams. No further discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is items pulled. There were none. There was no items added by majority vote that I know of before I got here. And before we get to appointments, I think Commissioner Price is going to read a commendation. Easy come, easy go. Commissioner Price.
Thank you. It was a honor to be at the Cramerton Board of Town Commissioners meeting along with Commissioner Keeger to acknowledge their 100 years anniversary, and the following commendation was read to them and presented at their meeting to the mayor and council. Whereas more than a century ago, Mayworth, a small mill village in eastern Gaston County, was settled along the banks of the South Fork River And whereas named after Mays Manufacturing Company, the first spinning mill in southern Gaston County, the village forever changed when the nationally recognized mill designer and inventor, Mr. Stuart Warren Kramer, bought out the Mays interest in Mays Mill and became president in 1915. And whereas Mr. Kramer's industrious vision quickly transformed Mayworth into a model mill village where his employees enjoyed modern conveniences such as indoor plumbing and electricity, sidewalks and paved streets. In 1922, the village was renamed Kramerton after its namesake, Mr. Stuart Kramer Sr. And whereas known for its rolling landscape and 850-foot landmark hill known as Kramer Mountain, the village was considered several steps above other textile towns. The mill employees received better pay, and its residents relinquished in the conveniences of tight-knit, connected community. And whereas Mr. Kramer built all of the village churches as well as 2 schools, but his vision didn't stop there. Among its amenities, the village had a company-run dairy farm, a recreation center, baseball fields, a swimming pool, and a golf course. And whereas Kramerton still embodies many of the ideals of the founder, and the town is symbolic of Gaston County's rich textile and mill village heritage. Over the decades, Kramerton has successfully balanced small-town charm and enduring community values while embracing changing economic and demographic conditions. And whereas pride in our past, faith in our future, is truly a befitting representation of the town of Kramerton as it celebrates its centennial anniversary. Now therefore be it resolved that the Gaston County Board of Commissioners recognizes the town of Kramerton on the occasion of their 100th anniversary, and hereby urges all Gaston County citizens to share in the celebration and discovery of Kramerton's unique history. This to be adopted the 27th day of October, 2015.
Thank you, sir. Our next item is appointments. We'll begin with Commissioner Fraley.
I have 2, Mr. Chairman. Both of them are reappointments. Gaston Community Action Board trustees. Loretta Young, Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, Chad Hawkins.
Motion made by Commissioner Fraley, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Any discussion? All in favor? Appointment approved. Commissioner Brown.
I have 3, Mr. Chairman. Juvenile Crime Prevention, reappointment requested by Edgar Bogle, the Planning Board, Giovanni Gambino, and the Travel and Tourism Board, Giovanni Gambino.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner, Motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Price. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Price.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 1 reappointment of Mr. James Bowie to the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Commissioner Price, seconded by Commissioner Kieger. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got 1 Transportation Advisory Board, Mr. Kenneth Gehring.
Motion made by Commissioner Williams, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Commissioner Carpenter.
I have 1 reappointment to the Gaston Community Action Board of Trustees, and that is Mr. John Maddox.
Motion made by Commissioner Carpenter, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Commissioner Kieger.
No appointments. But can I ask a question just to check? Does Giovanni live in Gaston or Lincoln County? Does he?
I have 2, Curtis Hopper to the JCPC and Danelle Buckley to the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Okay.
Go ahead.
I have full board vacancies. I think, Commissioner Carpenter, we need to appoint him back to the Charlotte Douglas International.
Yeah, that, when they set that, the legislature set it up, it was split appointments, and some of us had 2 years and some 4 years, and the 2 years are running out now. We haven't been able to act pending some decision by the FAA, I guess.
I'll
But
make the motion to appoint Commissioner Carpenter to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport Commission, seconded by Commissioner Williams. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Mr. Price, are you wanting to go back on Gaston Family Health Service?
I will be glad to serve, Mr. Chairman, if nobody else is wanting to do it. I've been on there a while, and if there's somebody that wants to do it, I'll be glad to relinquish that seat.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mickey Price back there since he has a lot of time.
Motion made by Commissioner Carpenter, seconded by Commissioner Brown to appoint Commissioner Price to the Gaston Family Health Services Incorporated Board of Directors. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. This time we'll go to Commissioner reports. Commissioner Fraley.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Brown.
None at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Price.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I attended the Gaston Family Health Service Board meeting in September. Would like to report that we will be meeting tomorrow night to get the final tally, but I just wanted to tell everyone that thankful for the county's contribution to the Mission of Mercy dental clinic that was held at Bethlehem Church. I haven't got the final numbers, but dentists were real busy both Friday and Saturday. I do know that when I was filling the prescriptions where they had the pharmacy set up, we had the extraction process right in front of us there, and the guy that won the extraction won it with a total of 26 teeth pulled at one time. So I'll have more exact numbers, but I do know that was the record that day.
Commissioner Williams.
I have none, and certainly nothing that gruesome and interesting as Commissioner Price.
Commissioner Carpenter.
I'll report on one. Friday, I attended the ADC announcement or groundbreaking for the new project in the Tech Park. It's a Brazilian firm that's putting in a spec building, which, you know, we've been all over the board trying to get a spec building, but we have private investor coming in to put that in, and hopefully it will soon draw another industry to that park. Everybody was very excited about this approach, and we hope it just leads to more where private investors will come in and take advantage of that opportunity.
Take one, pass it down.
Commissioner Keeger.
Last college board meeting, a lot of the talk was on the $700,000 that we approved tonight. I did attend the county employees health fair, and it was a huge turnout. Commissioner Price mentioned that we'd gone over to the Cramerton Commission meeting last week and received a real nice welcome, and we had the county museum meeting at 4 o'clock today, and just want to update that we appointed a former board member, Andy Osborne, back to the board, and our former library director, Cindy Moose, was elected secretary, and they wanted me to make sure that the board was aware of the Jenny Roush Art Endowment event at the museum. They'll have a reception. I believe it's November 5th, which I believe is next Thursday, at the museum from 5:30 to 7. And I will also report that our teacup poodle and our little Bichon had 16 teeth pulled in just over an hour by our vet. So percentage-wise, it's a lot higher. And I would like to just re-mention that most of us have some shade of pink on, and it's just that we're trying to do our best to acknowledge breast cancer research and the big nasty thing it is. That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Keeger. County Manager's report.
That's yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of quick items. I did want to, I think I sent you an email earlier in the week, but we got the Smart Fleet Award for fuel efficiency for the second year in a row from the state, and I think that is indicative of how we've succeeded in dramatically reducing our fuel consumption with our fleet. Also, we're scheduling a meeting to discuss the Woodcock property, which Joe and I visited last week. And that is a parcel that is in the, well, it's in the extreme northeastern portion of Gaston County and the extreme southeastern portion of Lincoln County, but it is the single largest industrial property that exists in the Charlotte metro area. So it has a great deal of potential, and that meeting is scheduled for November 3rd at 6 in the county admin building. Also, we've been making good progress on recalibrating our wellness programs in conjunction with some modifications to our health plan, and I think we can report some progress in terms of our collaboration with Caramount along those lines, hoping to identify the potential for some significant savings going into the next fiscal year. And then finally, we had yet another meeting to discuss the really severe problems that we have with our radio communication systems that provides support for all of our public safety agencies. And so we're making some progress along those lines in terms of identifying what the cost will be. Determining how we're going to move forward from a financial perspective will be a huge challenge, inasmuch as the cost of the various options run $14 to $20 million. So pretty substantial amount of change. And that's all I have for you this evening. Thanks.
Our next item is the county attorney's report. Chuck?
No report tonight, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. At this time, our next item of business is a closed session. Do I hear a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-31811A6 to discuss a personnel matter? Motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Williams. Any discussion? All in favor? We are now in closed session. I'll accept the motion to re-enter open session. Do I hear a motion to enter open session?
So move second.
Motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Keeger. Any discussion? All in favor? We are now in open session. There was no action taken as a result of the closed session. This concludes our meeting for tonight. At this time, I will recess this meeting until our November the 10th meeting.
That's the public hearing.